that they were blocked after being labeled a hate group by a left-wing site.
Their access has now been restored, but why are some companies getting so political in the first place? Here to weigh in is the host of Varney and Company on the Fox Business Network. There he is right there, Stuart Varney. What's going on?
Good morning, all. This is pressure from the left, pressuring private enterprise companies, big tech companies, which provide the platform for your news feed every morning. The Facebooks, the PayPals of this world. They're pressuring these private enterprise organizations, labeling conservative speech as hate speech, and getting these platforms to ban them from the platform. They are censoring what you are allowed to read and see in terms of political opinion.
I misinterpreted your breath for being done. I apologize. You took a deep breath and I started to talk. It won't happen again. But, I mean, there's pressure on these sites after the KKK and these white supremacist groups begin to convert and show up in Charlottesville. They felt that there was pressure on them to start taking down these hate groups, the Al-Qaeda, the ISIS, the white supremacists in there. Do you understand that their conundrum there?
Yes, I do. But how do you define hate speech? They're defining it as anything that's not in agreement with the left.
So what is Jihad Watch? What do they do?
Jihad Watch watches jihadis, watches the extreme Islamic movement, takes a look at them, and they've been labeled as being extreme hostility to Muslims. That qualifies as hate. Therefore, they were initially banned from PayPal from raising money.
When I read the story at first, I saw Jihad Watch. I thought, maybe let's think about this. Maybe give PayPal the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just saw the word jihad. They don't want to be associated with it. They don't want to fund any group associated with that. But then they're not the only group.
No, they're not the only group. There have been several. And this has happened not just with PayPal, but on Facebook. There's been a question of, can you get conservative opinion on your Facebook morning feed? Can you do that? There's been some censorship there.
Can you imagine if Zuckerberg runs for president? Just so happens that some of these people running against him might not appear on one of those powerful
There has been
out
talk
there.
that he's got a political ambition. He's gone on this tour of the country, going to unknown people in their own ordinary circumstances. There is some suggestion that he's running for the presidency or has a political role. He's also suggested a universal basic income.
Sure.
But the bottom line here is that the opinion which you are allowed to see on these platforms is being restricted. Conservative opinion is being labeled hate speech and therefore banned. And this is a serious threat to our freedom of speech, in my opinion.
We just had a conversation with David Webb about how even repugnant speech, things that we hate, is protected by the First Amendment.
Yes, the government may not.
Unless...
the government may not intrude and say, you can't say that because it's hateful. But private enterprise can. And these platforms, these big technology platforms, they are private enterprise, and they can say that's hate speech.
But I thought that obviously PayPal was started by Peter Thiel, who was one of the president's advisory council guys.
That is correct. But PayPal has the right to say, no thank you. My problem is, it is the left which is defining what you are allowed to see and hear. That is a problem.
Because we do know if these jihadists do use these social media platforms in order to foment their horrible ways and tell you how to build bombs in your garage. And
Now, it emerges. Did you see CNN last night? One of their hosts on air said, you know, in private conversations, we all pretty much admit journalists don't like Trump. He said it on the air.
Who was it, Don Lemon?
Mr. Stetler, Brian Stetler.
Oh, yeah.
He said it right out there. That's another form of subtle, behind-the-scenes, limiting the freedom of speech on the air to for ordinary people, what you can see.
We'll be watching your show this morning. Varney and Company comes up at 9 o'clock in the morning.